Recently, Goku and Vegeta came face to face with a formidable new Saiyan who had appeared. They struggled to beat this mighty foe who personified brute force incarnate. As such, and rather begrudgingly of the prince as to not damage his pride, they ended up uniting their power to put down the monster they were faced with. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan himself, formerly cast off to a distant world during his childhood. Goku's pristine, pure mind led him to see the goodness within the legendary warrior's soul. He wasn't a bad guy, just misled and born into unfortunate circumstances. Our hero would even visit him on planet Vampa to deliver some much-needed supplies, and much-appreciated supplies, given the barren climate of the uncivilized world. Broly then felt indebted towards Goku. Up until recently, his father Paragus was the only other person he ever knew. Between Chila and Limo, who first showed kindness and empathy, now another Saiyan, an inconceivable friendship was born. While everything was quiet all over the 7th universe, Android 17 travels the oceans with his family, just as he desired. However, an event from the past was about to impact the future. The unknowing warrior's selfless wish back at the Tournament of Power had an unexpected effect on the multiverse around him. The consequences of this seemingly benevolent action will shape the future on a much larger scale than previously believed. Meanwhile, on planet Sadala in Universe 6, Caulifla begs Champa to teach her some secret techniques. Though the fat cat merely kicks back, slurping on his drink, appearing to be completely uninterested in improving the combat abilities of his universe's fighters. When his focus is abruptly pulled to something else, turning to his left, he wonders what in the world that force is he's feeling. While the Saiyan in the background remains on her one-track mind. The ground begins to rumble. They ponder if it's an earthquake. But it's a much different kind of tremor. Champa wonders what his brother is doing in this universe. Turning to her would-be mentor, Caulifla asks if this is one of the techniques he's going to teach her today. Screaming to her sister in arms, the revenge on Goku is getting close. Ever so slightly, a little too enthusiastically. Universe 11, Top kneels before Belmont. As one could guess, the former is continuing along his path and becoming a god of destruction. When they too feel an astounding energy, but this time it's Goku. Margarita chuckles, it's almost as if you were really close by. But how could that be possible? What is happening in these universes? And in our universe, on Earth, it appears as if several tornadoes have overtaken a city. Saving a crowd of people inside a bus, Krillin does his best to control himself and maintain his duty. He tells everyone not to panic and to get out one by one. Doing so, Krillin removes his helmet to face skyward.
Oh, get off his ram!
Doesn't he feel his frenzied quest for power is going too far? Beerus's world, Whis also gazes into the universe. When he gets a message from someone, Shin and Old Kai. Sheepishly, the Supreme Kai rubs the back of his head to first apologize for the unannounced call.
Shitty
but
bitch.
The universe itself is shaking. Moreover, he feels Son Goku's and Lord Beerus's auras going berserk. All things considered, he would like an explanation for what's currently going on. But first, only appears to subtly giggle at the question, before then telling his dear Shin what's happening. It's a culmination of training of Son Goku.
Why do I have to play with people like this, bro? Oh my god, why do I have to play with people like this?
Stop running, Saiyan! It doesn't suit you!
Bro.
Come over here! As the alien native moves closer, curious of Goku, the Saiyan screams for him to get out of here, knowing full well what's going on up in space. Blasting from the planet, Goku can only wonder why Beerus would put an entire world and species in danger. And realizes, one has hitched a ride. The destroyer bellows for Goku to get ready. Back with Whis, he elaborates on how the pair left 30 minutes ago already. The Oracle Fish is amazed someone has been able to keep a fight going with Lord Beerus for so long. This Earthling really is astonishing. The Angel has a bad feeling and thinks it might be a good idea to join him. And the Oracle has a vision. He cryptically utters, "We'll act upon our own ending. Universe. Consequences." Whis glances down. Might this somehow be linked to the fight happening now? On Earth, the rumbling stops at last. Boo throws his arms in the air to shout he's hungry, while the former holds his granddaughter and introduces her to his pal Boo. The pair are revealed to be a capsule corp for a gathering of some kind. Chi-Chi growls, Goku better hurry up and get here already, as Videl assures her not to worry. He shouldn't take too long. Gohan is so eager to see him. Piccolo points out it appears Goku's, referring to him as son, surname like in the original manga. Training has finished. He will be returning soon. Looking up,
Brother, why is you shooting the ball like
Gohan
that,
vows
bro?
to get back to it himself. You never know
Oh
what
my
might happen,
fucking
and it might
God,
be needed.
bro.
His longtime friend is glad
Stop.
to hear it. While his spirit is admirable, Namekian wonders
That shit
what will
not
become of his
cool,
studies.
bro.
But he'll find a compromise between these two lives, somehow. Planet Pishin,
You got
2,000
19
times
put
Earth's
on
gravity.
your head, bro, and you not passing the fucking ball.
On this distant world, Vegeta trains vigorously,
wrong
not
with
only
you?
enduring the planet's immense natural pull, but also sporting hand
Do
and
you
ankle
have
weights,
any
though
fucking
he can't
brain
stop the
cells?
feeling.
Fucking 20
All
put
of
on
these
your
trainings
head,
are
bro.
becoming totally useless. Hitting a wall. What else can the prince do to further his goal? Will he
I'm
find his own
fucking
path to
blocking
power?
you. I don't
Or
ever
his
want to
personal
play with you
strengths like his super?
ever again in my fucking life. What the
it wasn't
fuck?
20
I'm
points, it was
reporting
19.
you. I'm reporting
Heavily
you.
damaged. He
I'm
stutters
reporting
to tell
you.
Beerus that without him intervening, the destroyer would have extinguished an entire civilization. But he only grins. He guesses he'd just be doing his job as god of destruction. Will Goku further his path in mastering Ultra Instinct and finally surpass Lord Beerus? Or is he only treading water in a long, fruitless endeavor? Turning to the child who grabbed onto him, he staggers to assure everything will be alright and he shouldn't worry. But falling back to his base and collapsing, it's just as Piccolo suspected. The battle is over. Closing his eyes, Beerus admits never before has a mortal offered such a fight. Even within gods, rare are those who force him to use such power. However, the Short's Goku has reached his limits. With Goku, Beerus's words fade into nothing. The Saiyan has visions of his friends back home. Vegeta scowls. You're completely on the ropes, Kakarot. As Baba shouts for Goku to wake up. But what is this place? What is going on with our hero? He then sees water? Right in time. He was getting thirsty.
What is...
After firing that monstrous attack at Beerus, the god transforms to reveal a new form. He hisses for Goku to be proud. He can barely remember the last time he combined these two powers. Zipping away, the deity assures whatever he does is useless. As things are now, the Saiyan is as slow as a turtle. Even Whis is surprised at how much the two are pushing it. Ultra Instinct combined with his destructive form, or possibly Ultra Ego. Beerus indeed recognizes Goku as a powerful warrior. Winding up, Beerus gets ready for the oncoming blast, cackling just when his body was getting rusty. And just as our heroes gives out. And just as the Destroyer was getting really into it, the Angel explains that form is really hard to control, even for Goku. When it dawns on the Catman, his planet was destroyed during this fight. On the sacred world of the Kais, old Kaio catches up on some reading, while Shin wonders which kind of power Goku used to shake the entire universe. When Beerus and Whis appear, as the former snatches a servant's staff, he stomps over in the Kaioshin's direction, who in a panic addresses his counterpart. Terrified, he questions what the sudden visit's about. Shoving the staff in his face, he inquires he can fix his planet, can he? Which, technically, yes, he can, as Whis reminds that staff is precious, as he knows. As the gang arrive back at the former planet, Shin is baffled to discover only a few floating rocks remain. Is this all? The Angel offers a chuckle to admit, as funny as it sounds, that is the case. But with a furious glare, Beerus questions what's wrong. The Kaioshin better not say he's unable to do his job. But no, that's not it at all. It's just going to take him a bit longer than expected. With that settled, he informs Whis they'll now go to retrieve Goku. His atmosphere aura will expire soon. Though his servant quells, he not underestimate the Angel's abilities, signifying Whis is the reason the Saiyan has been able to survive in deep space. A little later at the Grand Priest's palace, we're met with a spectacular view of his kingdom. It appears he has called a conference to speak to the angels. He thanks him for their presence here. The Grand Priest warns, before all, not a single word of what he has to say can leave this place. If the Omni Kings were to become aware, heavy sanctions will be issued. They already know why they're here, but they're all missing one critical bit of information. Lapis, the Earthling from Universe 7. He wished to restore the universes which disappeared during the Great Tournament. The problem is, this also restored the 7 universes which were void for an eternity. One of the angels interrupts to clarify. Did he really mean to say 7 other universes? Weren't there only 18 universes initially? Where did this additional realm come from? And the fact that there were originally 18 universes isn't the entire truth. While he never mentioned it to any of them. There was
Hey,
a
whoever got the
19th
AI,
universe
save the
as well.
motherfucking corner, man.
It was called
Hit that motherfucking
Universe
3 ball,
Zero.
man. Spring green every time, you heard?
Who sued
Or
that
drive to the
angel
paint on
father?
the ass.
Why hide it? What is the importance
Who
of
got
it?
the AI?
He admits he had no choice.
Oh, he got the
His
AI?
numerous children begin
Hey,
to speculate
shoot
on
over
the
that
reasoning.
motherfucker.
They eventually come to the idea that this additional universe must have housed a traitor or rogue angel of some kind. When a new face appears from behind to suggest that maybe it's
This
the
nigga
Grand
fast
Priest
as
who's the
fuck.
traitor.
God damn. You
The
know,
Grand
goddamn
Priest gets
power
a chill,
forward.
knowing he should have figured this would happen today.
DVDs in this bitch.
The woman enters to declare the one they refer to as father is nothing more than a coward too afraid to face his own past actions. These accusations naturally aggravate the various angels. Mojito barks
Fucking
just who she
serious
thinks
right
she
now.
is to judge their father. Margarita quells calm himself. They have to remain neutral no matter the situation. The woman continues to bellow they have all been left in the dark, and she never
Fucking missed
abandoned
that
them.
shot.
If they will, she would like to enlighten them to this imposter's past. A few minutes earlier, on Beerus' planet, Whis asks Goku how he feels now. His fighting abilities have taken on incredible proportions. The Saiyan apologizes for this. He was so obsessed at the possibility of defeating Lord Beerus, he might have taken things too far.
Rebound. No, he got that bitch.
However, the destroyer chuckles at the very thought, warning the
Come on now.
immortal against dying with his mouth so wide open.
Shit.
Though Goku has to laugh himself that he really isn't so young anymore. With that, Whis figures it's about time to heal the warrior, but he has a minor objection. If possible, he wants to keep the scar on his back. He only wants to
How does he
remove it
just
when
blow
he
past
himself
me
is
like
able
that,
to
bro?
inflict such damage on Lord Beerus, causing the god to jump up shouting to touch him if he can.
Okay.
And such a thing can easily be done. Healed up, Goku compliments Whis' powers are just as good as Senzu Beans. It's really useful under critical circumstances. Whis seems to take exception to this, appearing to narrow his eyes to comment how these Senzu he speaks of essentially contain angel powers. Likely another mortal deity line the gods do not like crossed. When the angel notices some petals
Come on, go to the
floating
paint, nigga. Come on.
identifying
Come to the
from
paint, nigga.
magnolia flower,
Come to the
the
paint,
Seiya
nigga.
decided to take some
Fuck you
liberties
talking
when
about?
creating this planet.
Beach.
Something Beerus doesn't like at all.
Oh, I got that
Anyway,
AI. Oh,
question
yeah,
Goku what he
fucked
plans
over.
on doing now. And to be honest, he doesn't really know. He
All right,
still
Brody.
wants to master his own power, and he doesn't believe there's a power above Ultra Instinct. Yet, he still didn't manage to win. First with Jiren, now Beerus. Other than that, he thinks it'd be a good idea to go home to his wife and kids. Chi
Yeah,
must
I'm on
be
that
worried to
shit,
death.
man.
Escorting the Saiyan back to Earth.
Damn, I
Goku
could've stole that
mentions,
bitch.
By the way, Whis never told him what he plans on doing. And at the moment, he has something to check on. He has a bad feeling.
Fuck you. Fuck with that
What
boy's
could be causing
build.
him of all people, a literal angel, to be
Niggas
this
be moving
worried?
fast as fuck.
The truth is, he feels a new presence. A tremendous force concentrated at one point that was not there
Oh yeah, I
previously.
got AI on me.
Reaching out for him. Goku places his hand on Whis' shoulder, pleading to let him handle it. The angel merely utters for him to remove his hand. Standing with
don't
his
want a three.
convictions, Whis repeats himself with a more serious tone. Clearly at an impasse, he tells Goku it's not the Saiyan's job to handle
played
the
that shit
problems of
smart
the
as fuck.
universe. But as if it would be the first time. Of course it's his job, urging him to just trust him. Relenting, his mentor finally agrees.
Oh, I got- yeah,
However,
I
he's unable to come with him right now. The Grand Priest
Put that
has
trust in me,
summoned him.
dog. Oh shit!
If he needs him, all he has to do is press this button. Our hero thanks him. Though if he wants the angel's opinion, his assistance is completely unreasonable. But the warrior promises not to disappoint him. After taking a quick diversion, they arrive at their destination.
Good fucking defense, nigga. Fuck is you
A
talking
swirling
about?
void in the emptiness of space. Universe Zero.
All right, don't put that trust
Back
in
in
me.
the present
Shit.
time, at the Grand Priest Palace, the mysterious
that
intruder
motherfucker for
reiterates
real.
she never abandoned the angels,
Hey, hold on,
and she
nigga.
wants to elaborate on this imposter's past who they call their father. Simply put, he provoked mass genocide and believed himself to be on equal footing with that of the Omni Kings. The Grand Priest finally tells her that's enough. He rises from his throne. His children kneel and request he explain himself, and to reveal the identity of this angel-looking woman. As many of you likely guessed, she is an angel, and their mother. Moreover, what she says
I'm
isn't
1
a
for 4.
complete
The
lie.
fuck?
This
my
19th
fault,
universe
y'all.
he previously mentioned was particularly powerful. It released a monstrous strength and threatened the balance established by the Omni King. Something had to be done quickly, so he acted without the king's knowledge. These words caused the woman to let out a maniacal laugh. Quickly isn't the right word. Expanding space-time may be a brief action for himself, but those slain by his actions did not suffer a swift execution. They felt everything as time itself tore apart the bodies of innocent people by the billions. It may have only lasted a second for him, but for all those affected, it was several tens of billions of years. All the Grand Priest has to say about this, since he doesn't possess the power of Lord Zeno, he had no other alternative. And these actions all but confirmed. The mother rhetorically questions her children if they hear that. From his own mouth, their father found it wiser to cover up his barbaric act rather than to be honest with the king. But strangely, she doubles back. She quells they not blame the priest. None of this is his fault nor that of the king. But what could she possibly mean? At the same time in Universe 12, Jin stares at the sky wondering what's going on. Belmont does the same in his realm. However, he recognizes several familiar energies. As the Mother Angel continues, she places the blame on not any individual, but the system itself which was set up forcing the Grand Priest to act. When 12 figures suddenly emerge out of nowhere, one pointing out the irony of the situation. It's actually kind of funny. While another, appearing much more brutish in stature, thanks Kansei for taking the pressure off all of them. Kansei likely the name of the Mother Angel. Peering around the crowd, we can make the assumption these people are destroyers and they're angels. One angel in the back mentions how strange it feels to return to this place, while another simply states how familiar all these faces are. Whis tells how these are the gods and angels of the destroyed universes, remembering back to a time their existence was meant to be. This causes one to cackle out that
That shit out of here, big ass nigga.
And only hopes he didn't miss them too much, before another voice rings out for them to behave themselves and bow down. Their faces finally come into view. First, we have Galleon and the destroyer Balkan from Universe 13. These names are a play on Balkan vodka, and
Fuck, I knew
Giuliano,
he was doing
a
that
sweet
shit,
herb-based
too.
Italian liquor. From 14, the angels Ares and god of destruction Dromel. Named for a white wine and hydromel, a beverage derived from fermented honey similar to mead. In 15, we have the blindfolded duo of Mulata and Vilspring, the latter being the one responsible for that cackling just a few moments ago. He screams he feels like he slept for hundreds of times longer than that cat Beerus. As for the wordplay, Mulata is a Georgian wine, and Vilspring was inspired by Devil's Spring vodka, a very high-proof spirit. Ironically, it's so strong that if not properly manufactured can cause you to lose your vision. Universe 16. Surrogate home
Why you
of the
sitting
angel
all the way out
Rental,
the plate?
Destroyer Maniac.
This is
Snicker,
weird,
sinister
bro.
chuckle. Maniac takes
Big
pleasure
ass
in
nigga,
seeing
come on, what you
them in
got?
good health.
What you got, big ass
Not
nigga?
injured. They've
On that,
arrived
nigga.
just in time. The party hasn't even
Right
started
on
yet.
shit, big tall ass nigga.
Rental is an anagram of
Wrong
Toro
hand,
Merlot, and Maniac is the same for Armagnac brandy. And for the 17th
ain't got your ass
universe,
dunked on,
we
nigga.
have the god named Nisos, named for Dionysus, the Greek god of liquor, who was actually a dead ringer for
Bring your bitch
Chaosium
ass back
rather
down
than
to
a
the paint,
destroyer.
come on.
The hair and the Protari earring being the giveaways, but still appears to bear a
Ooh,
destroyer's
yeah, you
clothing.
lucky. You lucky.
Whatever the case, he warns Alaros to stay calm. Panning down to the angel, he shows nothing short of pure rage on his face as he hisses Whis' name. What history could the two possibly share? Did the angel of Universe 7 also take part in his destruction? Just then, Vados instructs her brother to look a particular direction,
Bitch.
though he assures he has already seen what she refers to.
I ain't even no goddamn big man.
None
6'8",
other than
motherfucker.
Frieza. But how could this possibly be? The tyrant bids a good evening to all. He's been looking forward to meeting them, though he especially wanted to thank Whis in person. We're then introduced to an angel named Twist, which isn't only an appropriate name for the situation, but also yet another alcohol pun for a variety of drinks. With this panel, it reveals her and Frieza to be the angel and destroyer of Universe 18. Surely this couldn't be another version of Frieza native to the 18th universe. So how did he make his way all the way there?
My bad, bro.
Twist
I don't know
finds
what the
Whis,
fuck I was
possibly
doing.
all angels, if they see where this excessive neutrality leads to. Our angel is primarily fixated on the Golden Warrior. He thinks he understands
Nigga on
what he's
my
planning
ass,
to
bro.
do.
Damn, back the fuck up on
Back at the
somewhere.
Tournament of Power, he knew bringing him back to life, he wouldn't have just sat twiddling his thumbs for long. But to go this far, the villain spats to not underestimate his intentions. This is merely a foretaste, an appetizer of his true plans.
Yep, do that lame ass shit.
On
Come on.
persuading
pussy ass boy.
To explain everything
Trash
he needed
ass
to
nigga.
know. The commanders of the
Fucking not
Frieza
even a
Force
big man.
informed him to the appearance of the new universe.
Still stopping your dumb
He has to
ass,
admit, it was
goofy
rather
ass boy.
surprising Zeno decided to do away with the 18th universe at all. Its god of destruction was miserable.
Damn.
Not even remotely fit to hold his position. According
That
to
nigga did
Twist,
the James
he had
Harden
disagreed
step
with his
back.
universe's behavior, obviously not having the makings of a revolutionary. Flashing back, Frieza tries to assassinate the
Pass it to his
destroyer
big
from
ass. What you
behind.
gonna do, nigga?
At first, he would miss his
Big fucker.
initial attempt.
Okay.
What the fuck, bro?
Whether purposely or to
Like
only
that
fulfill his
step
own
back, though.
sadistic personality, he wouldn't miss again. Using his other hand, he fires several holes into the god. All the while joking, it appears he's more accurate with his left arm.
Come on, what you got, nigga?
Then
What
to
you,
add
all right.
insult to injury, mocking that he vomit a little more. His robes are too tight for him anyway. And finally cracking his neck, the Space Emperor dons the destroyer's clothing for himself. He scoffs that his impotence was disconcerting, and he wonders how he managed to become a god of destruction in the first place.
What is his big ass gonna do?
But he doesnn't think any of this concerns Whis himself. Having listened to the
can
entire
never have a
story,
dude that can't
Whis
shoot,
admits he
bro.
doesn't understand the point of going this
Nigga
far
gotta be able
with
to
it.
pull that
He's
bitch.
right. None of this is his concern. Continuing his vile ways, Frieza questions the angel if he regrets his resurrection. He pauses,
GG's.
then utters
You gotta
his
take
GG's,
the L and
Brody.
block
He
niggas
has
like that,
no
bro.
idea of where he
That's all I can
stands.
do.
Regardless, we would like to credit
Be
Whis.
like that, brother.
All of this is thanks
Yeah,
to his
you know how I
generosity
go.
to take the risk
the
of
theater.
bringing him back so willingly.
Yeah.
But for the moment, if he wouldn't mind, would he divulge the whereabouts of Goku? Grand Priest asks, Son Goku? What does he have to do with all of this? Prompting Whis to explain
Thank
how
you
he
for the
spotted
lights.
Universe Zero just before he was summoned here. He agreed to let the Saiyan scout it out for himself, but has since lost contact
for
with
the
them and he
lights.
hasn't used the button he gave him. For the moment, they are unable to reach him or distinguish his presence in the condensed auras that form in that realm. Maniac inquires if he's talking about the mortal who came through screaming like a donkey right into their headquarters. He needn't worry about him. They welcomed him justly. The Grand Priest now wonders why they would be keeping Goku imprisoned. The power of the deities is still far beyond that of any Saiyan. Goku's not a threat to them. Could it be that the mortal possesses vital information useful to the resurrected gods? Kansei taunts Kaishi not to look so ignorant. He knows exactly what they're planning with him. Kaishi, presumably the Grand Priest's actual name. Simultaneously, with Goku, our hero kneels in chains, prisoner of the gods. He screams for the cowards to get back here, wanting to know what they want from him. With a final glimpse of him from the apocalyptic world, all he can do is apologize to Whis. He grossly underestimated the challenge in front of him. After being told by Kansei he should know exactly what they plan to use the imprisoned Goku for, Kaishi, the Grand Priest, finally relents to inquire about their demands. Without skipping a beat, Maniac hisses they want the abolition of the divine hierarchy and the removal of that neutrality he's always been so obsessed with. The Destroyer emphasizes this point by throwing an errant strike in the Grand Priest's direction, causing Kusu to cry out for her father in terror, though he urges her to stay calm. That's when the various destroyers begin circling the Divine Leader. Voices scowl, it's this mentality that blocks him, fogs the truth. And it's the Divine Hierarchy that, during the so-called Tournament of Power, erased the gods, but not the angels? Billspring snarls, knowing this. How can he call himself a guide? When Jermel speaks up, the Towering Brute commands no more games. It's time to make things happen. But the Grand Minister wants to call his bluff. He taunts. Oh? And what will you do? What can you do? Kansei rests her leg on the toppled lectern. She declares a war between deities on a multiversal scale is about to begin. The revolution starts now. Every individual, mortal or not, will have to choose a side. Only one will remain. They wish to fight for a new world with a perfect balance. Without warning, the Grand Priest unleashes an attack against the revived gods and angels. not without taking great damage himself.
Bro, give
He
me a
falls to his
fucking
knees,
steal.
bleeding from the mouth. Nusu approaches to tend to the situation, but he tells her not to worry. As we gaze out to see what this technique accomplished, all of the opposing gods and destroyers stand frozen in place. His daughter questions what he's done to him, and it's just
got
that.
him.
He has frozen them in time and space. But it's not over. They have to teleport them to the Zero universe and freeze it in turn. She argues, won't that be dangerous for his health? However, he scoffs at her not to be ridiculous. Whis implores Kukatail to assist him. They have to gather all the Supreme Kais with Kibito. There will be 13 in total, which should be enough. But what does this mean? Acting swiftly, the Kaioshins we know immediately arrive on the scene. Kukatail formally greets him, as Whis has already
outta here.
summarized the dire situation to him. He wants to know if they'll be able to help. Kibito admits this won't be an easy task, but with 13 of them, they will find a way to succeed. With time of the essence, our angel snips they stop the formalities and prompts everyone to stand, as Kaishi motions for everyone to continue with their plan. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the gang continues with their get-together, completely unaware of the dramatics going on with the gods and angels. As Videl and Chi-Chi carry plates of food to the others, 18 darts up to insist they let her help with that. At the table, we see Krillin, Goten, Trunks, Pan, Mr. Satan, and Boo. The latter, most likely, the most excited to eat. Oh, something doesn't sit right with Chi-Chi. Gazing up to the sky, we all know what she must be thinking. Her daughter-in-law takes notice. Without saying a word, she quietly begins to head inside. Goten asks Videl if his mother's doing alright, but she's not quite sure. On another note, if we look at the Capsule Corp building, it appears a bit damaged. Was it from the fight between Goku and Beerus, or something else? Concerned, Videl trails after her to question if she's okay. While trying to keep a stiff upper lip, Chi-Chi insists everything is fine through the unstoppable tears. Videl reaches out for her. She insists Goku is just late. She knows how he is. Trying to laugh off the situation, this is just how he's always been with social gatherings, at least from what she's seen and heard. Chi-Chi does her best to manage a smile, returning the chuckle and admitting she must be right. At the same time, Gohan stands in the mirror straightening his tie. Then rethinking his attire, he appears to lose the vest in favor of something a little less butlery. Outside, he gazes at the beautiful sky, taking in the lovely scenery. As he pulls up a chair to join the others, we see he's ditched the tie as well, though he's a bit confused why his dad hasn't arrived yet. While ruffling Goten's hair, Videl doesn't have much to say on the matter. While in the background, Trunks drives his mother crazy playing with a dog, possibly Bee, instead of getting ready to come to the table for dinner. She continues her shouting as Gohan takes note of his mother's expression. She's still clearly focused on the whereabouts of her husband. But knowing nothing can be done, he figures they should just eat. When something catches their attention, looking upward, he asks, "What's that?" Meanwhile, in Universe 11, Planet Zarus, Jiren goes to wrangle up a monstrous dinosaur-looking creature. He grabs a net or reins, caught around its teeth to pull its head up, before sending it flying. Though there are a few questions regarding this scenario. Was he trying to save the creature, or kill or subdue it? As a punch like that from Jiren is likely to be a death blow for most natural life. Either way, something above also appears to capture his attention. Universe 6, Planet Geno. One of our favorite assassins makes his way through a crowd. Some of their faces we may recognize. It's made evident rather quickly he's on the clock. Acting before anyone even knows what he's done,
that was a horrible
Tony
shot.
walks away as a group of people begin to gather around. And just like the others, something takes his attention too. But if we look at the people around him, they all look up. Does this mean it's not merely a powerful key everyone is noticing? And in the same universe over on Sadala, Caulifla continues her rigorous training as Kale stands behind her. Gabba approaches as she nears 20,000 thumb push-ups. He greets the pair. The latter stays focused on the task at hand while Kale offers a meek reply. Finishing, Leafla finally says hello as well, though referring to him as Crawler, likely a petty insult somewhat lost in translation,
wrong
as this
icon.
manga is originally in French. She asks what he's doing here.
Oh,
The
that's my
truth
fault.
is,
That's
he
on
was
me.
just
That's on me.
passing through. But before he can even finish, he beckons what's that above him. Apparently not sensing anything, she cockily questions what he's talking about. So he straight up points it out, telling her to look. What's that ball? Curious, but not threatened. Leafla responds pretty much with a, huh, well, how do you like that? And has no
Hey,
idea
babe,
what
little
that
reset.
thing
That way you
is.
can shoot that 3.
She casually turns her
Yeah.
head to tell Kale to check it out. There's a ball in the sky, leaving her a bit confused. Though her partner assures it doesn't even matter. As it begins to speak, prompting everyone to listen to it. The entity announces itself as the Grand Priest of the multiverse, and has come to bring them the direct orders
call
of the
him
one
Bezo. I
they
think
call
his name Bezo.
God. Though Cabba wonders why the Grand Priest would want to talk to all of them through a giant ball.
Bezo,
This whole
okay.
thing is very strange. At any rate, he continues to address all life forms in the present world. An evil angel rebelled against
Ain't
him,
no fucking
though he
way.
was able to freeze her in time and space. It will only last for a period of 2 years. A war between all universes will begin once this delay is over.
Hey, give him.
Every
Hey, let
single
him take the top of the
individual will have
key.
to be
Give him
ready to
space.
choose a
Don't
side.
crowd him when he come down the court.
Asking the obvious, Gohan questions Piccolo what that even means.
Cause he got an
Final
AI.
shoe
Hey, bro,
dropping.
don't
Leafla's
crowd him when he
arrogance
come.
drains from her eyes while absorbing this information. Top contacts Jiren to make sure he's seeing this too.
Yeah, I could
Greatest
just
hero
tease
of
him, bro.
Universe
You don't
11.
need to.
That's what I'm
Still
saying.
confirms
Like, he
who it
does-
is.
He's to be by
Having
you.
just
Let
returned
him
from the Tournament
cheese.
of Power, Krillin looks as though he just can't catch a break as he and his wife
I
stare into the sky horrified.
I got this.
And finally returning, Vegeta, removing the last of his weights. He makes sure everyone here heard that as well.
Oh my
The sun
god.
relenting they did. Goten
Alright,
is
bet,
confused.
reset.
Wasn't his dad
I don't
with
know
him?
why I
Yeah,
got
that's what we
scared.
want.
No.
If they play
Vegeta
up,
figured
you got
he'd
one of
already
us to
be on
shoot
Earth
off
by
of.
now.
Yeah,
Only
fact.
furthering Chi-Chi's concern for her husband.
Good stuff. GG.
All the
With the
way.
angels and gods of the resurrected universes making their intentions clear. The Grand Priest's actions of freezing the rebels, Universe Zero, and all inside Universe Zero, have bought our heroes 2 years' time to not only prepare for a universal war, but to decide what side they will be fighting on. The natural choice seeming to be the side of the Grand Priest. But would the abolition of the divine hierarchy lead to greater equality or absolute chaos? Thinking, the gang only has 2 years. They're gonna have to get organized with everyone. Vegeta adds not only that, but everyone will have to set a goal and role for themselves for the war. And by the way, they need to find that Broly guy. He has huge potential and could be very useful. He asks Bulma if she can go get him and his friends, all green and all orange, who, with an eye roll, reminds him they do have names. And for his own part, Vegeta will send Gohan, Goten, and Trunks to see Whis. With any luck, he should be able to bring out the best in him. Away, Piccolo does his usual routine. As a mysterious stranger appears behind the Namekian, he inquires if he can help them. In space, Bulma chews out Jocko. She screeches to know what he means by "I'm too busy." He needs to hurry up and get to Earth and stop being so selfish. Reluctantly, the Galactic Patrolman agrees as she hangs up the phone. Trying to save face with his comrade, he hollers.
What? It's fine. She just wants me to go find someone. I can do that for a friend, right?
Though turning away, his other protests, he didn't say anything. Still ranting, Bulma swears that Jocko is such a slacker. Even when a war is about to break out, he tries to find a way to postpone what he's asked to do. Like seriously, he can do that for a friend, right?
Oh my god, 99.
Tending to the little one,
Everybody.
Vegeta smirks that when she's
Fuck.
angry, even the greatest of warriors can't stop her. Heading outside to let her blow off some steam, she can still be heard as the door closes. She vows to tear his eyes out. That darned latex-coated alien! Galactic Patrol her out! Just wait until she finds out that latex is actually just his bare skin. While Bullet begins to fuss, Gohan calls out to the prince to joke. It sure sounds like there's a lot going on inside. Prompting Videl to approach him to tend to the crying baby, assuring Vegeta she'll take care of her.
I'm getting
The
so.
Saiyan then
that
calls
was a
out for
crazy
Gohan.
sequence.
Taking a seat next to him, he wants to know
You
his
said you
plans
getting
for the next
sold?
2 years. Will he train
Hey.
or keep to his studies?
Yeah.
He
yeah,
intends to
he's
do
gonna
both,
be-
actually.
Yeah.
Vegeta then explains if that is indeed his decision. He would like to propose something.
Oh, he going to the paint.
How about training with Whis? Kakarot is currently
Yeah,
doing
he's
his
got mine
last
in.
training with
Let's
them.
go. 2
Knowing
points.
the two of them, they'd be delighted to take him in. Clearly, our heroes are unaware of Goku's predicament. Either way, he also mentions Goten and
You
Trunks
take
have
that.
already told him they're
He's
in.
stuck.
Gohan regrets to inform he's pretty set on his idea of what to do during these 2 years, so he'll have to decline the invitation. By the way, for Goten and Trunks, his dad
Chill
told him
out,
about a
Dad.
kind
Yeah,
of
take that shit.
hyperbolic time chamber. An idea Vegeta loves. He can accompany them himself.
I know
On
you're going
Gohan's
to-
side, he inquires if he thinks Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien could be of any help.
You're going to the
And if
paint.
so, what could they do? Taking off his glasses and thinking a moment,
You.
Gohan thinks he knows just the thing.
Hey.
Moments later, Gohan pierces through the sky, making his way to Krillin's house.
Going paint.
Below, he finds the entire family
Oh, he's
outside
up.
as he touches down to say hello. Setting his daughter down, Krillin asks his old friend how he's doing. While he says he's doing just fine, he gets straight down to business. He questions if he knows where Yamcha and Tien are. And as luck would have it, the both of them are inside right now, apparently coming over during Goku's intergalactic battle. Which is perfect. Gohan asks what kind of
He's going to the
training he'll
paint,
be
though.
doing
Be
over the
sure.
next couple years. Though growing a nervous smile, he presses him to wait and calm down a second.
Oh, hit him with the. Hit him with.
That's when
You put
Gohan's
everybody
phone
down
goes
there. I'm getting
off.
sold.
It's Vegeta. And looking
I
in the
might make a
background, we see
7-4.
Beerus, Whis, and the boys. The prince tells how he's with Whis.
Man, late, bro.
And he's just been
This is,
informed.
the beginning of the
Kakarot
build.
was in
Man, you
Universe
did it at the
Zero when the
beginning
Grand Priest froze it.
He going to the paint. I can get that. Thank you.
As
Y'all
a still
niggas
silence
all
fills the
hogging the
area,
take two
Vegeta
is
tries in vain to
crazy,
get
bro.
Gohan to answer.
That's like a little block I got.
Back with Piccolo, the stranger from before calls out,
Don't pretend, Namek.
revealing the two other
You go
Namekians
to
from
the
the
paint.
Tournament of Power, Pinnell and Sayona,
Shoot that.
from our left to right. Accompanied by the Supreme Kai of
Yeah, he done
Universe
already checked
6,
that.
they believe joining forces
that.
over the next
Oh,
few
yeah,
years
check
will
that.
give them their best
Yeah.
chance at victory. Though Piccolo, who barely gives them an ounce
That's
of his
ugly.
attention, asks if they think he can really help them.
Butter though.
Lena believes that each of them have something
You
unique
gave him the ball
to
still?
contribute.
That's crazy.
So
word.
yes, he does.
Shoot that.
And in that case,
Go to the paint.
Piccolo agrees.
Oh.
But
What
before
kinda-
they leave,
he
he has
Euro
something to
into-
do first.
It even Euro. He was like about to Euro.
Meanwhile, on planet Vampa, the trio emerge from their cave to find a Capsule Corp ship touching down. Chilai shouts out to greet Bulma with excitement. They must have had a bit of communication between the events of Broly coming to Earth and the moment before us now. The scientist returns the greeting while smiling if it isn't her favorite aliens. Walking over, this is the first time she's got to see Broly up close. Commenting she didn't think he was this tall. Taking the enthusiasm out of Chilai with a spout of territorialism. Still red in the face, she questions what Bulma wants from him anyway. And naturally, they saw the black ball in the sky, right? Nemo finds this curious. He's surprised to hear she also had that strange dream. But a dream? No, it was real life. It was the Grand Priest. But Limo continues to argue that all three of them simply dreamt of it. Bulma then believes she's figured it out. They were all certainly sleeping when the Grand Priest made his announcement. He must have found no other way to warn billions of beings who would have been sleeping at the time. Chilai leaps forward, beckoning. So it was real? Does this mean there is an imminent war on the horizon right now? And that is the unfortunate reality they're faced with. That's when Bulma's communicator goes off. Whis, of course, who delivers the same bad news to her as he did the others. With Gohan, he states the obvious that without his dad, they all have a sure role to play, and he already knows what training would suit him best. Around the room, we have the aforementioned warriors, plus Master Roshi. Krillin states he understands, but he couldn't do anything during the Tournament of Power. Heck, he didn't even face off with the most dangerous warriors and he still struggled. So what does he want him to do in a war involving the most powerful deities? He'd like to give everyone some big Goku-like speech, but he's not that man. Roshi admits he agrees with Krillin, but is still willing to fight. However, he has been training for almost 350 years. He doesn't see how he can progress any further. Krillin admits he knows this isn't a noble way of thinking, but he belongs here, with his wife and Marin. Clenching his fist, Gohan explains for years, Son Goku has been protecting them all and giving his life to the weak without hesitation. If anyone wants to stay here, do it. But his father and billions upon billions of people are waiting for them and need their help. Yamcha figures since he doesn't have a family or anything to protect, he can take part. Tien feels the same. Standing, 18 prompts Krillin to follow her. Now in the kitchen, she tells her husband to listen. She knows that all he wants is the best for her and Marin. But above all else, this is not just about their lives. And he knows. But, she continues, she tells him whatever choice he makes, she will support him in any case. If he chooses to fight, she too will fight. If he chooses to stay, she will also stay. Back with Vegeta, Trunks tears up as he bids goodbye to his little sister. He knows that 2 years is as long as her whole life, but he promises he'll come back as soon as possible. He wants her to become a big girl, and soon she'll be a strong little princess. His father tells him that's enough. It's time to leave, doing so while simultaneously ushering Goten away. Picking up his daughter, he instructs Trunks to board the cube. Double-checking to make sure they're all out of ear and eye shot. In a rare display of affection, he tells his princess not to worry. Her daddy will be back. With our heroes venturing off to train in a place similar to the hyperbolic time chamber, where exactly will this take them? Is there anything the humans of Earth can offer in this war? And being so young, will Goten and Trunks be able to fully benefit from the training of Whis? A small pickup truck scuttles down the road, debris of West City scattered on the shoulders. It slows to a stop in front of Whis, Vegeta, and the boys, who are heading off to the cube which will take them to Beerus' world. Vegeta finishes slipping on his gloves as he thanks someone for taking care of Bola while they'll be gone. His father-in-law, Dr. Brief, who is more than happy to take on the task. After all, that's a sweet little granddaughter he's talking about. It's not like he has anything more exciting to do anyway. Holding his sister one final time, Trunks sheds a couple more silent tears wishing he could get to see her grow up. His father ruffles his hair knowing how he feels, whether the others know it or not. Entering the cube, he informs that Gohan and the others will be here soon and it shouldn't take them too much longer. They too will be joining him for a portion of the journey. And moments later, Gohan, Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien step forward, while 18 stays behind to tend to her daughter, and Roshi staying put because he doesn't believe he can benefit from any further training. Leading the pack, Krillin shouts they'll give it everything they've got. It's time to enter that cube. Whis checks to make sure that's everyone, and if so, where would they like to be taken to for their training? Gohan confirms this is all who's going, and he'd like to start by going to Universe 9. This throws Vegeta off guard. What could they possibly learn in that realm? What does he have in mind? Who figures it'd be the best place for Yamcha, Tien, and Krillin? They're gonna go to see the Trio de Dangers. He hasn't contacted him yet, but he's sure they'll accept. If we remember, these are the werewolf-like warriors from the preliminary fights. Though Krillin isn't very excited about the idea, arguing, Trio de Dangers? Seriously? Gohan enthusiastically retorts, well yeah, they'd have made mincemeat of Cell, and nearly did out of Majin Buu. From a previous conversation he had with Tien regarding the Tournament of Power, the Wolf-Fang Fist Fighter asks if these are the 3 Fox guys from before. From the stories he's heard, he's not very impressed by this dangerous trio of canines. In fact, he'll just handle them all by himself. Knowing full well what a mistake this would be, Tien advises his friend not get too far ahead of himself. Even Krillin and Gohan have to let out a lighthearted laugh at Yamcha's never-ending confidence. Who can blame him? After all, he did so well against the Cell Juniors, Android 17 and 18, Dr. Gero, and he really gave it his all against that Cyberman. So Gohan merely tells him they'll see how that goes. Yamcha continues unwavered, promising they'll be begging him to spare him once he's done. But as patience runs out, Whis lifts the cube to get him started. Trunks bids farewell to his grandfather and sister. That's when he'll next get to see him. Very much will have changed for them all. Outside planet Vampa. From inside their ship, Jocko announces that for the first time in the history of the Galactic Patrol, they will be moving from one universe to another, so everybody better hang on. Sheila is confused. Move from one universe to another? And that's right. Planet Sadala is situated in Universe 6. With an accelerated, let's go! Jocko guns it past light speed at 100 times faster than Plaid. Bulma screams she's going to kill Jocko for this. Meanwhile, at the same speed, if not faster, our usual heroes enjoy a leisurely cruise from Universe 7 to Universe 9. Just as everyone begins to grow a bit bored, Whis announces they have arrived. Planet Calaman. They've made it to their first destination. Krillin jokes that the Angel makes an excellent taxi service, but he only questions. Attack what? In the background, we get a glimpse of the world they will soon be arriving on. It appears to be swirling with a strange mist of some kind. Gohan points this out to the others. The planet seems to be made of cotton or something. Their guide informs that Planet Calaman is indeed known for having a thick layer of clouds surrounding it. Curious that it's actually known for this, Krillin asks just how thick this layer of clouds is. And more or less, it's about 3,000 kilometers thick, or 1,860 miles, which is half the radius of the planet at its center. But that much? And they have to go straight through it? With a flick of the wrist, Whis is easily able to open a hole through the fog, causing Gohan to smirk that it seems like that won't be a problem. Although, it is a bit strange that he thought that would be a problem. They did just travel through complete universes, and he really thought a little cloud was going to stop him now. On the surface, the light from space pierces through the barrier like overcast, creating an almost biblical-esque scene. Krillin peers over the edge of the cube to gaze into the abyss below. No time to check it out now. It's go time. He signals for Gohan, Yamcha, and Tien to follow him. But Gohan objects. He informs his allies he'll be getting off at the next stop. Yamcha sighs. Ah, so you decided to go after all. Which Gohan thinks will be better for him. But where could he plan on going? With the boys to train with Whis? At any rate, Tien wishes him luck. The Saiyan then questions if Whis heard what he said, who confirms. Moments later, Goten and Trunks wonder why Vegeta decided to get off here of all places. Universe 6, Planet Sadala. On the ground itself this time, a group of Saiyans approach baffled at the technology before them. They've never seen a ship like this before. Vegeta exits to get his first look at his alternative home planet, the fate that could have befallen his own people. The warrior with the mechanical arm recognizes the alien as a Saiyan, excited to see a familiar sight. Though Vegeta doesn't return his sentiment. Thwacking the native, he barks, "A Saiyan! I'm your prince, you moron!" Making a grave mistake, the other surrounding Saiyans take a defensive stance. One bellows if he's looking for a fight. He's in for a treat. But the visitor only mocks at a one-armed man, a one-eyed man, and an army of wimps who wouldn't even be worth a power level of 1,000. Is he really going to stoop to this? And finally, at their stop, Trunks looks out to the world before him shouting, "Look, Goten, it's Beerus' planet!" Though the son of Goku is a bit taken aback. It's a lot smaller than he expected. But Trunks argues who cares? How cool would it be to own your own planet? The destroyer takes note of their arrival. Jumping up, he angrily questions Whis, "What the heck is this?" Clearly not expecting any visitors. With a giggle, he implores Lord Beerus to please be indulgent and welcome their new visitors. But furiously shaking his head, he doesn't care. This isn't some kind of Club Med for Saiyans. They need to go home. He doesn't want any kids around. Club Med being a French travel and tourism company, which I totally 1000% knew before looking up. But these remarks reverberate through Goten. A Club Med? Is he serious? His dad might be dead by now, and he's just worried about having an entire planet all to himself? The god warns the mortal to watch his tone. His father is the least of their worries in a war of this magnitude. And anyway, the hothead Goku is. He would have died one way or another when the battle actually starts. This insult causes Goten to launch towards Beerus, ready to defend his dad's honor without a second thought. But Trunks wisely tries to jump between him in an effort to stop his friend. He asks Goten if he's crazy. But the boy isn't ready to listen to any semblance of reason, telling Trunks to move out of the way. Knowing what's at stake, The likely outcome of this altercation. Vegeta's son isn't having this nonsense and tries everything he can to prevent Goten from retaliating. Only again tells him to please move. Stop falling! Throwing Goten through a small satellite, the Saiyan grunts to Beerus it's not over. As the destroyer grabs his face, beginning to utter the word, Hakai. He stops himself, perhaps coming to his senses, or perhaps teaching him a lesson. Flicking the child on the forehead, he's knocked out cold. Beerus then calmly turns to Whis to insist that he is adamant that there will be no guests on his planet, so they must go practice their training elsewhere. Back with their favorite Earthlings, the gang tries in vain to communicate with the planet's natives. Tien attempts to get the attention of one more, but no one is answering him. Krillin deduces that the locals simply don't speak their language, which is admittedly strange. Bergamo, Lavender, and Basil understood him just fine. Finding themselves lost in the crowd, the situation may take a bit longer to resolve than our heroes hoped. Luckily, just who they're looking for happened around the corner. Basil points out to his brothers that it's the Universe 7 warriors over there. They think it's possible that they're the ones who made the hole in the sky that the kids told him about. And with Vegeta's little skirmish ending about as one would figure. A voice shot from behind a hill demanding to know who piled up her buddies. Revealing Caulifla, who's completely baffled in seeing Vegeta and questions what the heck is he doing here? How could Vegeta possibly benefit from traveling here of all places? Does he plan on training with Kefla, the fusion of Kale and Caulifla? And where has Gohan decided to take his own training? Blasting through dimensions to Universe 6, Jaco announces their arrival, only hoping the gang isn't all too shaken up by the rocky ride. And inside, save one of them, the passengers have been scattered throughout the cabin. In a huff, Bulma has to jab, "Hardly, you idiot," in response to his previous question. But at any rate, the spaceman gleams with excitement that this ship's technology is a complete success. The Galactic Patrol have ventured from one universe to another for the first time in their history. Now, on to planet Sadala. Earlier, in Universe 11, Margarita, angel to Belmont, explains that the latter will not lose his destructive powers. However, he's been a god of destruction for 3002.185 years, and the powers attributed to destructive deities only last as long as their reign. These comments get Top's attention. Belmont himself acknowledges this unfortunate truth, while adding, "Will I die? Who knows? But he's already lived a very long time, even for his species." He hasn't told them enough, but Dispo, Jiren, and of course Top here are all great warriors who he respects. Taking in a breath, and with determination in his eyes, Top announces he's ready. Margarita taps her staff to begin a sort of ceremony. This causes two giants to appear. Whether biological or monuments, the pair emit an intense energy and bear an appearance only fitting to their intimidating stature. As a radiant key envelops Top and Belmont, we're left to wonder what exactly this is all for, though we can likely make an assumption with confidence. As the ceremony goes on, a presence makes itself known to Margarita, Jiren, and Dispo. Streaking down from the sky, something lands not too far from the warriors on the alien planet. Shooting each other a quick glance, Dispo tells he's going to check it out, as Jiren stays as nonverbal as ever. Skidding to a quick stop. He's baffled who he's looking at. Why would he be here? But back at the ceremony, a tragedy has taken place, seeming to transfer his throne to Top as foreshadowed in the Tournament of Power. Belmont is rendered nothing more than a withered husk. Retaining her emotional neutrality towards non-angels, Margarita merely turns to Top to ask how he feels. And with his new power coming to a settle, he states he's feeling good. Before realizing what's happened, he screams out as his mentor falls to his knees. The former student does the same, though slamming his fists into the ground with anguish. He likely would have refused all of this had he known this would be the outcome. Entering, Dispo and their unexpected visitor. As many are already aware, Gohan. But Top shoots him a powerful glare, almost directing his fury towards him. And since time is a valuable commodity, especially given recent events, he admits he's not sure he knows everything that's going on here, but time is running out. He thinks they have a lot to offer him. Back on Sadala, after seeing him beat down a bunch of her cronies, Caulifla demands to know what the heck Vegeta's doing here. In tow, Kaba and Kale. The former asks what she's talking about. With a fierce scowl, she spouts that Kaba's idol just showed up out of nowhere and smashed up a bunch of their people. But his idol? What's she going on about? Vegeta at last addresses all her hollering, almost as if he was speaking to a child. And in some respect, there may be more truth to that than meets the eye. He tells her to be kind. More importantly, stop being so childish and bring him to their king. He has no time to lose. Though we all know about how well trying to put Caulifla in her place works. This tears her into a rage, causing her to scream, "What's wrong with him? He just beat up her buddies and now he's trying to give her orders?" Kaba does his best to hold her back, but there's no telling how much longer he can keep his grip. Taken aback by her behavior, the prince can only comment to himself that there's definitely something off about that girl, as he compares her mannerisms to that of a rabid dog. She continues her attempts to wriggle free, swearing to Kaba that she's going to gut him. The young Saiyan restraining her assures Vegeta not to worry, believing she won't be able to break loose. Even Kale appears a bit surprised by her actions. Turning to Kale, Vegeta decides that while these other two are acting out, he and she take him to the king instead. But even she herself appears a bit uneasy about the situation. She doesn't immediately know how to react. With the others, Caulifla finally stops jerking around and promises Kaba she'll calm down. He gives her his attention, making sure she's for real. She doubles down and assures she won't be any trouble. But Vegeta knows better. He warns his Saiyan brethren not to let her go. And it's soon made clear why. As she rushes him, Vegeta decides to end things immediately by delivering a staggering Super Saiyan kick, though not to the complete approval to all nearby. As her body ricochets off the loose ground, Kaba shouts out to see if she's alright. The prince turns the other direction before barking to know what the others are waiting for, warning he better not have to repeat himself. Picking up their ally, Kaba and Kale don't appear impressed with their Universe 7 counterpart. Meanwhile, on Planet Pillar in the same universe, it appears on a pretty creepy planet, possibly the home planet of Tim Burton. As its name suggests, two giant caterpillar-like bugs are seen doing bug stuff in the background, as another insect does its best to hide from the assassin. Seeming to give him the slip, Frost pours with sweat, not only out of the stress regarding the situation, but also because this planet is incredibly hot, so much so he can barely breathe. With that motion, the Frost Demon knows he must be done for. He's about to use one of his assassination techniques, which only somewhat turns out to be the case. Using his time skip, he gets at the villain's throat demanding some information, asking if the demon has any other brilliant ideas for tailing a man who was born to hunt. He wants to know who hired Frost to follow him, meaning it's actually the other way around. He hasn't been hired to terminate Frost. Pleading with the hitman to calm down, he assures nobody hired him. He works only for himself. In fact, what he wants is revenge. Making their way to the king of Sadala, Kaba tells his mentor they've arrived. But Vegeta doesn't see anything resembling a palace or a like. The boy instructs him to look down. And sure enough, one of the most illustrious constructions presents itself to the prince. Several stories circle one another, as each layer showcases its own unique and impressive design. And looking above, this ancient appearance clashes with the futuristic technology the Saiyans here possess, not unlike the ones from our universe. This is the palace of King Sadala. He takes it all in, almost taking pride in the formation before him, thinking what could have been for his own people. Kaba shouts out to someone named Sprouts who's hovering in a ship. He asks if he can take them to the king. In the ship, he happily greets Kaba. And fulfilling the request, everyone hops aboard his vessel. Caulifla's still out cold in the background. doing his best to ease the awkward tension. He mentions that he's never seen Vegeta around here before, so where does he come from? The prince responds that makes sense given he's from another universe. He's never been here before. Pausing, the chauffeur begins to laugh heartily, saying that's a good one. He almost had him there for a second. But given the events Vegeta's been through, he doesn't really see what's so funny about this. Catching eye of his gaze, Sprouts thinks he may have overreacted a tad. Snapping herself awake with her own snot bubble, Caulifla again begins to scream after Vegeta. The crazy idiot thinks he can just kidnap her. He's never gonna get away with this. As Kappa does his best to hold her back, Vegeta shouts in vain for his protege to restrain her, but that's what he's trying to do. As this continues on for a moment, luckily they're only seconds away from landing within the palace, leading the prince to leave quite the first impression on those in power here. Making their descent to the lowest level, a robot guard beckons if it should warn the king, though the man nearby instructs there's no need to bother him, only wishing he had a coin for every time a jester desecrated this palace. However, it wouldn't be long before word of Vegeta's arrival would make its way through the palace. A messenger runs up to Lord Sadala. He tells of a strange individual who's come from another universe to request an audience. Without any resistance, the king agrees to grant it, causing the strange turnip panda to stutter. Good, he's waiting for you in the main hall. And if that's the case, the king figures it would be best to simply go to him. Though towering over his visitor, the king approaches to respectfully greet Vegeta. He introduces himself as King Sadala before inquiring of his guest's name, who in turn responds with simply his name alone. As all of our heroes make their way to their first training destinations, how will they work together to improve? And will the King of Sadala be able to see eye to eye with a Saiyan from another universe? Staring down at the prince, the king tells the young traveler that he heard he comes from literally another universe. Even for himself, that's quite the curiosity. So what's his story? What brings him to this place? But Vegeta grunts he has no time to lose with his stories. He's come here for... Though Sadala interrupts him. Listening to or telling a story is never a waste of time. Is it? He gestures for him to please explain everything to him. So in that case, Vegeta implores the royal to explain this palace of his. He's never seen a structure built in such depth. Who responds there is indeed a reason for that. His people have not always known peace. While he doesn't know about the Saiyans where Vegeta comes from, but here the Saiyans ruled through submission and violence, survival of the fittest. Nothing mattered but strength. He himself was once an illustrious warrior, driven by his own thirst for battle and power. Here, they were just a wild race of beings, their only essence being battles. They were completely out of their minds. There were ancestral stories from this planet which refer to them once bearing tales, not unlike those of a monkey. But it seems that by the simple fact they did not use the transformative power they instilled, they would be lost to time. Eventually, the people would become divided. So King Sadala of this era provided, once again, his legitimacy by bringing the whole world together. Even non-fully blooded Saiyans would join them in an interspecies alliance. Because of this interbreeding, they were able to stand up to the most powerful of opponents. In the beginning, he himself was a simple army general adhering to the king's ideals and merely supporting him in his decisions. But through unparalleled loyalty, he was able to rise through the ranks and would be recognized as the right-hand man of their king. The years passed and from battlefield to battlefield, he saw his brothers in arms killed one after another, while his loyalty to the king only grew stronger. He was used to seeing blood, presenting the scar on his face as his witness. But it was one too many. A fiend came about calling himself Gurkhan the Bloody. He was a man who hated the king more than the demons themselves, more than his own demons. He was always the eternal runner-up, always falling short as the king had beaten him time and time again, but sparing his life each time only crushed and maddened Gurkhan more. Release of death was an infinitely better alternative in his eyes. He couldn't bear it. And lucky for him, the current Sadala felt the same. Night and day, the present King Sadala would hunt him, driven by his own hatred. But to his amazement, The relief he so coveted by killing Gherkin was ultimately an illusion. Shoving his fist into his stomach didn't fill the void he felt. When removing it, he saw nothing but the emptiness of an endless tunnel. This shape, which has been engraved into his memory, gave its shape to the palace which they currently reside, Sadala Palace. Since the previous King Sadala hadn't sired any offspring, and because of his own hierarchical position, his people voted unanimously for he himself to succeed him. Even today, he can't look himself in the mirror without thinking of his fallen brothers. When he came to power, he vowed to perpetrate the ideals of their former king, to put an end to all these childish wars and reunite their camps. The braid he wears, he makes it every morning to remember that oath and stick to it. A Saiyan who fails to stand by their convictions is a usurper. He then tells how he explained all of this because he thinks he knows why Vegeta came here, but his ambitions will be without the Saiyans of planet Sadala, bidding him a goodbye. But just as his farewell leaves his lips, Vegeta scoffs that he's starting to understand. Narrowing his eyes and pointing directly in front of him, he chides King Sadala is afraid of death. Baffled by his visitor's words, he stutters while asking how dare he show such disrespect. At first, our prince merely smirks and stares him down. That's when a few particular memories surface in Vegeta's head. One where he's telling someone that without Frieza around, he'd be able to beat him up, given his lack of a tail and old armor, likely Kui on Namek. Then the other, after he let Cell reach his perfect form, only to fall miserably to the biological android. Then surprising all, he actually offers a gesture of humility and drops to a knee. Even Khalifa's dumbfounded by this. He utters, King Sadala, father of Saiyans, I implore you, whatever we do, thousands will die. It's up to us to act so it's not our own. A king who doesn't keep his promises is a usurper. Later, now on planet Nabur, Frost seems to be chasing him planet to planet, begging he help him fulfill his revenge. As this has clearly been going on for a while, we join the mid-conversation, if it could so be called. He begs him to at least teach him something, just one assassination trick. But all of his requests are met with a simple no. Frost then asks how he's gonna make him suffer if he doesn't help him. The Hit tells him to do it himself and let him do his job. When the demon thinks he's got it, the technique he wants to learn is the one Hit's saving, just in case he ever has to make him suffer, right? Which is also met with a simple no. The Frost Demon then comes to a stop. Folding his arms, he scoffs he sees now. It's a shame. He had thought they were friends. Hit might need some, by the way. Friends, that is. He's alone all the time. It's depressing. Still not giving an inch, the assassin shrugs this off, uttering, if you say so. Frost goes on. He claims the two of them aren't so different. He himself knows how it feels to be forced into a mold, which is why his species won't allow itself to be outdone under any circumstance. He insists he's only telling Hit all of this because it almost sounds like he doesn't like his job, even his life perhaps. Freezing Frost, the demon stands dumbfounded. Looks like Hit decided to use one of his assassination techniques on the frigid fiend after all. But of course, doesn't actually end him. He's just finished with the conversation as he once again responds, if you say so. A bit further away, She-Lai gets a bit snuggly with her giant death puppy as she and Limo try to sleep the trip away. Bulma inquires of the patrolman how much longer this trip will be now that they're in Universe 6. And as he mows down on some space snacks, he grumbles, 2 more days. This causes the scientist to let out a chuckle. Jocko's really funny when he wants to be, but how much longer will it really take? However, he wasn't joking. It's going to be 2 days. But he didn't tell her any of this. She hopes he remembered to bring supplies. But still chewing, he just finished his super chocolate bar. With it alone, he can easily last the next 4 or 5 days. Jolting alive, She-Lai also gets in on the chiding of the spaceman, prompting him to reboot. You're not going to bother me too, are you? Well, fortunately for them, Broly has them covered. If they want, he brought along 6 legs of some weird spider. They can all have some as he ate well before leaving. And if they're thirsty, they're plenty juicy as well. Given the air in the room, Bulma's just now discovering it's going to be a long journey. Back with Vegeta, one of the robot guards asks if it and the other should act, given their visitor's transgressions. The king himself not looking too happy. He retorts that if someone has to act, it will not be them. He urges Vegeta to continue. He interests him. The prince states the king heard the same thing they all have, so whether he likes it or not, war will take place, referring to the Grand Priest's message to the multiverse. But King Sadala should know that this is not just a civil war between Saiyans. This is his question. What will he do when the enemy enters his land? Welcome them with a white flag? As passive as he wants to be, if he is really one of those whose king he claims to be, his instinct will never allow him to be passive in this. Vegeta can't guarantee that nobody will die, but he swears to make each and every one of them, his own people, worthy of their name. He admits that he might not work miracles, but he'll make sure that all of them can look after their own. Glancing back to Caulifla, he tells all within earshot that there's a lot of hidden potential among them. He's sure about that. Giving everyone a taste of what he's capable of, Sadala commands his guards to gather the whole of Sadala's special forces. He has an announcement for them. Vegeta smiles. He assures the king he won't regret this. Walking away, he himself smiles. I do not live with regrets, Saiyan. With the entire Saiyan army gathered, King Sadala announces this is a call to all special forces. Gaining the trust and alliance of his Universe 6 counterparts, it seems Vegeta's plan is to not only train himself, but the entirety of the Saiyan race. How will he be able to manage so many warriors? And what will our other heroes learn in their own adventures? With his forces gathered, King Sadala announces for all of his warriors to listen well. Himself and their ancestors have fought to make peace speak for itself. But those days are unfortunately over. Everyone here was shocked by the announcement made by the Grand Priest, and now they must prove they know how to defend themselves against these fomenters of revolt. They, as Saiyans, are a people who live in a world of facts, not in a dreamlike conception of the world which surrounds them. So he ushers everyone to raise their fists and please welcome the heir to the neighboring universe. Let them both fight hand in hand. They will fight for their own. Glory to the Saiyan people. 2 days would come and go for our inter-universal travelers. Jocko happily tells everyone they've finally arrived. Opening the hatch and setting foot on Sadala. The first universe-to-universe expedition of the Galactic Patrol is complete. Gazing outward with pride, the spaceman spouts he doesn't look too bad here. A nice change for many of their rotten planets. But as we glance around, nobody else seems to share his positive attitude. Bulma quips to remind her to never try Broly's food again, referring to the giant spider-like creature he brought aboard, which was their only source of sustenance for the last 48 hours. Ignoring his passengers' groans of anguish, Jocko reaches into a pouch to continue what they've come here for. Retrieving a device, now they need to find Vegeta. He lets loose a little robot which takes to the sky, displaying technology that the modern NSA will likely make public one day soon. It's able to use facial recognition to identify everyone nearby. He figures while their technology does all the work, maybe in the meantime they'd like to get something to eat. But they all, minus Broly, are still struggling at the thought of food. The mere idea giving them flashbacks of hairy, bloody spider shawarma. Though Broly's just excited to see if they have some Udani legs, which are the tick or spider-like creatures of planet Vampa. With his laser-like focus, Jocko spots a stand labeled kebab. He thinks that sounds cool. Confidently approaching the cook, he questions if he has enough food for 5 people, which he does. Shooting his customer a glare, he asks what he can get for him. And since none of them are exactly familiar with the local cuisine, Chila and Limo keep it simple by ordering the dish of the day, though Bomo requests the Versagian salad, whatever that is, and Jocko wants the chef's specialty, this kebab thing. Turning to Broly, the cook then inquires what he wants since he's remained silent this entire time. But the giant's confused. Why does this man only serve 3 dishes? Chilai told him that restaurants have lots of choices. And if we look closer, we see Broly refers to the 3 pictures of food within the menu. In an annoyed tone, the chef questions the others if he can't read or can't count, leaving him even more lost. The legendary Saiyan asks if this means this isn't a restaurant at all. Chilai lets out a sigh, promising she tries to teach him these things. Sooner or later, the robot would spot Vegeta and the others on the ground below.
Audio contact in progress.
The machine contacts Jocko to let him know Vegeta's been found. Who, checking his device, looks to confirm. But being it's the Vegeta we know,
In a row.
destroying the defenseless robot. For a moment, the patrolman sits dumbfounded, before slamming his receiver and over on the table once he puts 2 and 2 together. The cost of that robot's going to come out of his salary. Back with the prince, Kaba argues what if that was the king's? While Caulifla inquires what that thing even was. 2 concerns that Vegeta simply grunts at. Freaking out, Jocko screams he's already bought a round of food and drinks for everyone while Bulma over here's just loaded. He's gonna end up broke. Scientist taking exception to this little hissy fit. She hollers at him to go and do the drone's work himself. Obviously, if he has money for fancy devices, he's not that broke. Taking off, he begins to become bothered by the fact that it seems like he's doing all the work around here. It's really starting to get boring. Flying over the central metropolis of Sadala, this feels more like a chore than anything else. A few hours ago, at Gohan's house. It seems that before he left to see the Pride Troopers, Piccolo wanted to bid him goodbye. He shakes his hand and tells him to train hard. Who intends to? And speaking of which, he motions to Videl. He'd like to take Pan to meditate, or maybe even train with him. Though she hopes he's only kidding. And he tells her that the truth is he actually did the same for Gohan, back when he was only 4 years old. He was the first serious mentor the child ever had. But she shouts those days are over and he can forget it, offering a sarcastic thanks and goodbye. While dejected, Piccolo ultimately respects her decision. Maybe next time she'll come around. And inside, it looks like Gohan's more blown away than anybody by his wife's fierce reaction, possibly getting flashbacks of his own mother. Walking off and appearing rather proud of herself, she tells Gohan to go and get ready. They're going to be joining Bulma and Vegeta soon. The youngster can't help but ask what's wrong with her mom, and where did Piccolo have to go off to? Unfortunately, Videl only calls that it's time for her to take her nap now. Gohan eventually lets out a reluctant chuckle at the situation. Now genuinely thinking back to Chi-Chi when he was Pan's age, he chortles that he bets she's gonna grow up to be just the same one day. A few moments pass and Pan is seen looking at a book in bed. Hearing a tap on her door. She frantically turns off the lights and tosses the book, knowing full well she's supposed to be sleeping. Opening the door, her father. Spotting the book on the ground, he lets out a smile. He sits down on the side of her bed and pretty much calls her out that she was reading longer than she was supposed to, wasn't she? This is met with a ballad of fake snoring. He assures her there's no point in pretending to sleep. Her snores are awful. In her defeat, this actually upsets her as she sits up and apologizes. Being the softie he is and seeing he upset her, he takes a moment to sit with his child. He explains that what he's about to tell her is really important, and it's going to be useful for the rest of her life. People will always try to impose their vision on her. What really matters is what she wants in her heart of hearts. So never let anyone tell her what to do. She's pure of heart. He's sure she'll never hurt anyone. This clearly mirroring Gohan's own childhood. Unfortunately, a lot of this is lost on her. She asks why he's saying all these weird words. That's when he remembers she's only 3, who adorably argues she'll be 3.5 soon. Knowing the training ahead of him, he gives his daughter a kiss goodnight, telling her to sleep well. Back on Sadala, Jocko stomps down right before Vegeta, snarkily interrogating if he just so happened to have recently destroyed a very expensive gadget by chance. Bluntly, the Saiyan snarls he doesn't care about his stupid gadget, and what does he want with him? And what he wants? He had to travel for 2 days for his wife and 3 scoundrels! That's when it registers with Vegeta. Oh yeah, that was part of the plan too. Heading over to the others, Caulifla scoffs that she doesn't even know what they're all doing here. And spotting the gang she was just hoping to see, Bulma greets him with a big smile. Kappa being the only one to walk up to her and say hello properly. But that could be because she doesn't think Vegeta has mentioned these other 2 before. Caulifla taking offense to this great affront, snarking that's not cool. The prince chuckles a bit while commenting. He didn't want to bother his wife talking about disgusting individuals such as themselves. Causing the predictable. You're joking, right? Almost as if she got her feelings hurt. Caulifla sulks off. She pouts how that made her mad and she's gonna go head home. Bulma shoots her husband a death stare, but he seems pretty satisfied with the effects his words had. When Kappa looks at his invisible watch in a panic. How inconvenient! It's getting late. He just remembered he had something to do. He has to go. Right now. See ya! Not fooling anyone and only wanting to avoid this awkward situation, Vegeta swears only cowards live on this planet. Given her already timid nature, Kale thinks it'd be best if she went too. But Bulma then directs her fury towards her instead of her husband. She's just going to run away now too? Who does she think will guide him around this planet if she leaves? Jumping back to her bubbly attitude, she says it'll be fun. That's when the inevitable happens. The female Broly locks eyes with the Broly. Romance aside, what's the game plan now that Broly joins Vegeta and the others on planet Sadala? Will it be up to him to get Kappa, Caulifla, and Kale into shape as Vegeta trains the entire Saiyan army? Or does the prince plan to train everyone himself at once? Chi-Lai takes exception to the situation, shouting to Broly that she's still here. When he makes the first move, he introduces himself and questions what her name is. But Chi-Lai screams to know why he's even bothering to ask. With no other words, Kale merely comments her own name in response. As Chi-Lai cries out, "How long are you going to keep ignoring me?" Kale takes in a deep breath, trying to overcome her anxiety. She tries to get pumped up by telling herself she can do this. Her eyes shift to a much more welcoming expression. She turns to Bulma to accept the request of escorting them around the planet. After all, it's not like there's anything better to do. Getting her way yet again, Bulma leaps with excitement and thanks their new tour guide. They can head downtown now if she wants. And since they've all finished eating, they begin to head that direction. Though already getting a rundown of the area, Vegeta complains that he doesn't like rides and this is such a pain. His wife promises this will be fun. Just trust her. While Jocko snips, they just go already. Like Kale said, it's not like they have anything better to do. As Broly notices Chi-Lai lagging behind. In a huff, she crosses her arms and pouts to Limo that she doesn't think they're invited. He asks her what's wrong. And naturally, she simply mutters, "Nothing." With a prod, a confused Broly inquires she's coming too, right? Who reluctantly and eventually agrees to. The gang walks for only about half a